Hello everybody, Short Hair Solar Sands here, once again with another video, and I touched briefly on the narcissism channels in my latest video, the most controversial children's book in history, and while some of those channels I mentioned were a little silly, like I watched some of their videos and most of them were fine, like they didn't really give me any interesting or new or novel ideas. They were kind of repetitive, kind of content farmy. But this guy in particular, I screenshotted some of his titles. I think this guy is legitimately a bit of a menace. Like he's actually doing damage to like probably mental health professionals and what people believe about narcissism and such. Aside from being kind of a content farm where he just rambles for like 10 to 20 minutes about something. He has 3,000 videos, so maybe there's good videos in there, but the videos I've seen have been pretty abysmal. He calls himself a narcissistic abuse professional and an expert, and I'm clearly not that, right? I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a narcissistic abuse professional, so how can I even critique anything he's saying? Well, I think my number one criticism about this guy's channel is that he repeatedly and just constantly brings in the supernatural to narcissism, to narcissistic abuse. He constantly talks about God and demonic spirits, things that should be far, far away from any discussions about a legitimate personality disorder. Let's start off with this video, which is 5 dreams God shows you only if you're with a narcissist. Already a pretty hilarious title. Whenever you're talking about psychology in therapy, if they're like, yeah, God showed you a dream that this person was bad, you should get out of that therapist's office immediately. And this guy entertains God and demonic spirits and all this constantly. He's made like a dozen videos at this point.
Hi, I am Danish, a psychologist.
So if anyone's wondering, I just skipped like the intro. There's nothing he says that isn't already said later in the video. Tell us, Danish, tell us about the 5 dreams God shows us only if we're with a narcissist.
And a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. In today's episode, I will help you know about 5 dreams that God shows you only if you are dealing with a narcissist.
All right,
Dream
let's
number
do
1,
it.
Seeing really scary creatures like big snakes chasing you. You're running away and you are bitten by one.
Dream number 1. Scary snakes or other creatures chasing you. Call me skeptical, but I've had dreams where I'm chased by a crazy monster or snake or something, and I don't think I was being warned of being with a narcissist. That's just a very common dream.
You wake up gasping for air. You're in a full body sweat and you feel like there is a snake around, but there's none to be found. What could be the meaning behind this? If your subconscious mind is trying to reveal to you that you're with a toxic individual, it will show you this chase. It will try to show you what you exactly feel in your body so that you can process it and understand the message. When God wants to intervene, it tries to send these very mixed, mysterious messages across.
When God wants to intervene, he will show you mixed, mysterious messages. Let's say even if you're a religious person, I'm sure any religious person has experienced something of that nature. Problem is, this is not a reliable metric at all.
How would you know that the snake, the monster, the beast that you saw in your dream is this guy or is this woman? Of course, it won't be easy. 2, we do not know how to interpret dreams. You don't have to necessarily believe in God to know that dreams can be meaningful.
See, so this is something he does a lot, which is, if you don't believe in God, that's fine. But if you do believe in God, then this will work. And I'm like, these things cannot be said in the same sentence. What we're talking about here is the difference between a lie and the truth. Either God does show dreams to people to tell them they're with someone that's bad, or he doesn't. And if he doesn't, then this is useless. This is stupid. But if he does, then what are you doing by saying, well, if you don't believe in God? Clearly you have to believe in God if you buy this, right? If not, then why are you talking about it?
Dreams can show us a lot because there is something called conscious intelligence, things that you know consciously, and then there is something called subconscious intelligence or bodily intelligence, which is far more greater than your conscious ability to deal with things.
I call bullshit on that. You should not rely on your subconscious to make decisions. You should not rely on your subconscious to warn you of things. That's what your consciousness is for. Do not rely on your subconscious for major decisions in your life. I'm sure there are things in the subconscious that are interesting to pursue, that can give you more information on something, but threat assessment is something we are very conscious for, in my experience. I would give this a little bit more credence if there was any kind of citation at all.
Number 2, the dream in which you fall again and again. This is not one of...
Wow, a dream in which I fall again and again. I've had this dream a lot. I think most people on the planet have had this dream. Getting chased by a scary monster and falling are some of the most common dreams ever. What you're doing is you're taking very common parts of the human experience and prescribing them onto narcissistic people, which I think is a huge mistake. Not everything is warning you of narcissism, and this is just, if you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. If you're not with a narcissistic person, it's probably pretty normal to have these kinds of dreams where you're being chased and you're falling. And if you are with a narcissistic person, I bet you can have the same dreams too. So this is kind of useless, isn't it?
One of those dreams that you have the moment you drift away into a deep state of sleep and you're jerked out of it. This is not that. This is a dream that you have in the early hours, or you're falling constantly, never hitting the end, never hitting something. You're trying to grab onto something, but you can't. You're trying to find some support, but you can't. What can that possibly...
You're trying to grab onto something, but you can't. Again, I've had this dream. I feel like most people have had this dream before.
This is what we call a trauma bond. To help you break this kind of a bond of Herculean strength, I have created a program in which I teach you how to break this.
Oh, that's great. He created a program, guys, for us. Only shill $97, and you'll get even more information from this wonderful, wonderful expert.
Thing in 5 practical steps. Dream number 3, you find yourself stuck in places like a doorless room. It doesn't have a window.
Oh my God, you're stuck in a room and you can't get out. Wow, I've never had this dream before. That is such a specific dream. It must mean I'm with a narcissist.
And then all of a sudden, a way might appear. You try to move out and then you find yourself stuck again. It's like a big concrete blocks are tied to your feet. You try to move on, but you have to drag yourself.
Wow, you're trying to run in a dream, but it feels like there's concrete blocks on your legs, so it's hard to run. This can only be a dream you have with a narcissist. This isn't just one of the most common dreams I've ever heard from anyone ever in my entire life.
Number 4, seeing yourself in extremely vulnerable situations. Like you are unclothed. You can't find anything to cover yourself.
If you have a dream where you're naked and you're in a vulnerable situation, you're with a narcissist, everybody. Remember that. This is like not only one of the most common dreams ever, this is like the cliche go-to for dreams. Oh my God, I was naked at school. What an embarrassing dream. Are you kidding me? How is that? How does that prove anything? Like, if these dreams can apply to every single person on Earth, what use are they if it's supposedly God showing you only, capitalized only, if you're with a narcissist? This is completely useless.
You are in a room where you can be attacked. It's like a war kind of situation, and you can't find any cover. This clearly shows that you feel extremely attacked in the presence of that narcissistic individual,
or it could mean nothing, because being naked in a dream is just embarrassing, and it's like, oh my God, this is social anxiety manifested as a dream. It's extremely common.
That's why you feel so vulnerable, so fragile. If you're having these dreams even after leaving the narcissist, that means there is trauma to be resolved. But if you're having...
Even after you left the narcissist, you can still have these dreams, which means there's trauma to be resolved. Okay, so actually this title is a lie. You can have these dreams when you're with a narcissist and also after you're out of the narcissist spidery web or whatever. Hey, great. That's so useful, dude. That's so useful.
Then while you are with them, this is a sign. A sign that there is no trust in the relationship, that the other person is ruthless. Please consider subscribing to the channel, because your subscription may help in spreading awareness about narcissistic abuse.
Subscribe
That
to
brings
the channels,
us to
guys.
number 5. Seeing your...
This is something he says in every video. Your subscription will help, what do you say?
Spreading awareness about...
Spread awareness of narcissistic abuse. How? Sharing your videos would probably help spread awareness. Maybe even commenting and liking for engagement for the algorithm. But subscribing doesn't do anything. Subscribing just makes sure more of your videos will be in a subscription box. If you want to actually spread an awareness, you would at least share the video. It's such an odd comment.
That brings us to number 5. Seeing yourself covered in a lot of filth. Something that you are trying to clean, wash away. It doesn't go away. Or it's all around you. Like you're trapped in a very dirty washroom. There's so much smell. It's bad. What could this mean? Well, this could mean there's a lot of internalized shame and disgust that you have been made to feel like a burden. Can also be a sign of dealing with a very evil, disgusting, demonic.
A dream about being covered in filth and not being able to wash it off. I guess I haven't had this dream before. Probably like sticky stuff I've been covered in, and I can't clean it off. That's probably something. But like filth specifically, I guess not. I guess I'll grant you this one, Danish.
If you have had any of these dreams, and if you keep having them still, then this is a sign for you from God, from your subconscious mind, from your intuition, from your higher self universe, that you must leave, that it is not in your head, that you are dealing with somebody who is breaking you inside out. Which one of these dreams were you able to resonate?
So what is that, 3 out of 5? 4 out of 5 that I've had before, and that basically everyone else on the planet has probably had before? How God takes revenge on the narcissist.
Many survivors of narcissistic abuse
Here we go.
struggle a lot with their wavering faith in divine. They wonder and ask questions like, what did I do to deserve this punishment? Why was I put through this hell?
Yeah, so this is something he frames a lot, like, oh, why, if God is good, why would he let this happen to me? Now, whether you're religious or not, I don't think this is a healthy way of going about psychological disorders and abuse and things like that. And it shouldn't be conceptualized like that, like, oh, why am I suffering? Why is God letting me suffer? It's just an abusive person in the world, and, you know, you're the victim at this point. Or if you are a narcissist themselves and feel bad, it's just not a good mentality to have. I don't see that as productive at all. And I don't think any therapist should be like, yeah, why is God allowing you to go through this? They should be like, no, there are things you can do to help with this. It's not in control of the divine or anything. And I think even a religious person should acknowledge that that is just a pointless mentality to have about about these kinds of situations.
Why do I get to suffer and the narcissist gets to live their life freely? They move on from one person to the other, while as I cannot move on from my pain. How and when will the justice be delivered? I have my understanding of it. Today, I'll be talking about what God does to a narcissist, how the justice is delivered when the narc crosses all his or her limit. I am Danish.
And instead of going like, okay, that's not a good mentality to have, goes in the opposite direction and says, no, actually, God will take revenge on your narcissist in due time, which is hilarious to me.
The topic for today's episode is clear. How God punishes a narcissist when he is done with him or her. When trying to process the rage that I felt towards my father during my healing journey, I continuously asked myself a question. I wondered, when will God deliver the justice? When will my father face that rage, that divine rage?
Again, he's describing the whole bad mentality. Yeah, when will God punish this person for my suffering? like I think even basic Christian religious belief explains that you shouldn't expect that from God. That's not how you should live your life.
During that journey, while processing the anger, I realized he's already suffering. What I'm focusing on is what is available to him. A lot of them get to live a long life. They get to taste success like no other person. But what is their internal experience of it? They are dissatisfied. That's why they keep dumping from one person to the other. That's the reason. They are cold. Their heart is not beating. It's just a lump of flesh moving. There's no soul in it.
This is something I really, really, really don't like about this guy. He talks about people with narcissistic personality disorder like they're not human, like they're legitimately a zombie or a different creature. My man just casually said that people with narcissistic personality disorder do not have a soul. Their heart has no soul. I don't think I would go about saying any human being does not have a soul, maybe except for like extreme psychopaths. But not all narcissistic people are psychopaths, and that's just a wild thing to say. Like, this brings us no further to understanding or diagnosing these people, because unfortunately people with NPD are still human beings as far as I'm aware. So to talk about them like they're, oh, they don't have a soul, their heart is just a cold beating organ. That seems a bit extreme. That seems a bit unhelpful.
They have everything at their disposal, but they can't feel it, they can't taste it, they can't smell it, they can't see it, they can't hear it, they can't touch it. They are in flesh here, but it's actually a ghostly presence.
They are flesh in the world, but it's a ghostly presence. It's like, this is completely supernatural speaking. I really don't like how he talks about this. So the rest of the video is basically recounting a story that seems to be an old religious story, and that's about it. And essentially his thesis is that God takes revenge on the narcissists because their deaths are horrible and no one's there to support them, etc. Which is kind of like, okay. I was hoping God would like come down and like manipulate situations or something, but this is just kind of lame. Dangerous demonic spirits behind narcissism. Here we go.
Narcissism has its roots in evil. It's strongly connected to demonic forces. That's why all major religions and their books describe these demonic entities the way we describe narcissists.
I don't think it's any mystery why all major world religions describe demons with traits that we associate with bad people. I mean, this is like the ancient way of looking at things, that bad stuff is done by spirits and forces outside our own material world. I don't think narcissism is the catch-all for all of this stuff. It's mostly just like bad behavior in all its forms. That's what these world religions usually talk about. And that obviously includes narcissistic people, but it probably also includes people who are not necessarily narcissistic, but just do bad things out of greed or lust or, just the classic sins,
For example, Jezebel is known for its manipulation, the way it gaslights, the way it creates conflict, the way it's prideful and egoistic. Whose characteristics are those? Who embodies those traits? A narcissist. Today in this episode, we are going to talk about one such notorious demonic spirit, the Leviathan spirit. Because of my own experiences with narcissism and evil entities, the connection between the two, I was doing some research and trying to understand the different perspective, the different approach.
It would be fine if he framed this as, oh, here's some fictional demonic entities that loosely map onto narcissistic personality disorder. That might be interesting. That might be, educational from like a theological perspective. But to sit there and act like, yeah, these are real demonic spirits that really influence real people is incredibly unprofessional. And I don't know why he keeps making videos along these lines.
Ideologies different religions have taken to either literally or symbolically describe human evil. Or
it cannot be literally or symbolically. It has to be either or. There are literally demons influencing people, or there's demons that are symbolically influencing people. One has actual real-world consequences, and the other is storytelling.
Then I stumbled upon the spirit of Leviathan, which has been described in detail. in Holy Bible, mainly in Job, the chapter Job. You can take it as how people in ancient times described narcissism in their own way. They knew of this.
See, that would be fine. Ancient people describing narcissism with their own supernatural beliefs, fine. But we have to acknowledge that these are fictional things. These are things that they're not real. There are no demonic spirits that are influencing people to be narcissists. It's a mental health issue. It's not something beyond with magic, beyond our understanding, beyond treatment.
And they came up with a symbolical version of it. The spirit of Leviathan has been described as a reptile-looking, crocodile-looking, alligator-looking, serpent-looking demonic entity that causes confusion. The spirit of Leviathan has been described as a spirit of deception. It twists the truth. What is that known as in this context, in the psychological definition of narcissistic abuse? Manipulation. This demonic spirit is also known for its capacity to stir strife and chaos. And
imagine you go to visit a therapist and you're describing being abused by somebody and they're like, yeah, okay. The person who's abusing you is being possessed by the Leviathan spirit. Like, what do you do with that? You're just like, okay, now what?
Think about this for a moment. It's not just the spirit of Leviathan, there is Jezebel as well. There are others as well. All of their attributes in the narcissist manifested through one human being. How dangerous would it be to deal with them? There is a force in them. They let all of that in and give space to these spirits. That's why they act.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that narcissistic people do not exist because they allow spirits to infest them. It's probably more so to do with either abuse in childhood or just a problem with their brain. I get it. A demon can be very tempting to view as an influential force, but why are we taking this emotional, mythical, symbolic story and saying, yeah, this is how it is done for the narcissist, maybe?
And I'm somebody who needs reasons, who needs to know truth from lie. And it's not like I just read it and believe it and share it with you. No, I have seen things with my own eyes, with my grandfather,
yes,
with my mother.
What have you seen?
It was not a hallucination. Things moving, stuff happening. I have talked about that in depth and detail in my...
Things moving? Oh my God. Okay, so you're telling me that demonic spirits literally possessed your grandfather, and your evidence for this is that you saw things moving. Are you kidding me? I did not actually expect this at the end of this video.
The title for that is Narcissists and Paranormal Activities.
No, bruh. Oh! Why are you doing this?
What other attributes do you think they possess? Drop your answers in the comments below and let me know what else
I didn't
you'd
even
like to
know
add
this
to what
video
I already
existed.
shared with you. Call me crazy or superstitious for this one, but I'm going to talk about
You are crazy and superstitious.
and paranormal activity in today's episode. Narcissists bring in a lot of toxic, heavy, negative, dense, and evil energy into the environments they become a part of, influencing the...
No, they do not. They do not have supernatural abilities, and they don't have energetic fields.
Energetic field, so much so that scary things start to happen. What things? Let's explore in today's episode. I am Danish, a psychologist and a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. Welcome to my channel. Number 1, electronic devices start to malfunction. Lights flicker and go out in certain parts of the house.
Oh my God. I literally replaced my ceiling light bulb because it was flickering and going out. Do you know why that happened? Because it just went out. Because it's probably been used for a while.
They try to fix it, but say everything looks fine. I don't understand what's going on. Wires are intact and so is the connection. This should be a temporary fault which will go away on its own. And you're left dumbfounded. You don't know what to do because the problem persists and lights keep flickering. There's a dense energy around the house. It's just...
What is this dense energy? Can you measure it?
Overbearing. You can't stand it. It's like your body wants to reject it. Your body wants to get out of it. It's a bodily experience. Those who know what I'm talking about. If you have...
Those who know. Okay, that's useless as fuck.
Drop your experiences and what you remember in the comments below.
Oh, just engagement farm. Engagement farm more, dude. Engagement farm more. Drop your experiences in the comments below. Subscribe to spread awareness. Pay $97 for my trauma session. Validate others.
And validate others. And this is not something that I know, that I have been through only. I have heard it from
Yes, many people can be wrong about supernatural stuff. People's memories are not perfect. People can believe stupid shit. Other people can also believe other stupid shit.
so many people in different ways, in different forms, but the thing remains the same. Electronic devices start malfunctioning.
That's what they do. Electronic devices malfunction all the time for various reasons. Come on.
TV, for example, when they enter the room, it starts flickering.
Shut the fuck up. No, it doesn't. Do you have footage of this? Can you bring someone you know has narcissistic personality disorder, and can you bring them into a TV and it starts flickering, and when they leave it doesn't?
Or you are working on a device like your phone, it goes out. Sometimes these devices also catch fire, which spreads, and there's big smoke. There may not be any scientific reason to any of this. And
No, there is. I guarantee there is. I'm sure if your phone explodes and is on fire and smokes, we can take it, put it out, and figure out what happened.
that's okay. We can only understand.
No, it is not okay.
If we were to understand the spiritual aspect of narcissistic
There is no spiritual aspect of narcissistic abuse. It's a mental health problem.
abuse,
How the
which is not
fuck-
for everybody.
how are you
If
pro-
you're someone who only wants to
How
stay
are
with
you
science, that's fine.
professional?
Then you need to understand.
No.
Which is not for everybody. If you're
It is not for everybody. It's wrong. It's wrong. That's why it's not for everybody.
someone who only wants to stay with science, that's
No. If you are someone who only wants to stay with science, it can't be science and it can't be supernatural at the same time. You understand this, right?
fine. Then you need to understand the psychology behind it and the devastating impact their abuse has on its survivors. But spiritual aspect, demonic aspect, evil aspect, and
All bullshit.
energetic aspect is as real as the scientific
No, and that is...
aspect, in my opinion.
Your
Number
opinion
two,
is dog shit. Your opinion is stupid. Your opinion doesn't make sense. How are you a professional and you're saying these things?
you always feel something or somebody is watching you.
Oh my
Which may be the
fucking
narcissist,
God.
of course. They love to observe you. They love to learn how you function. They love to learn how you express your emotions so that they can use all that knowledge
This is
against
not
you.
even
But I'm talking
supernatural.
about, it's just this overbearing presence that's everywhere, and you feel like it's chasing you.
You're just
You can't
stressed
put it
out.
in words, but it is there. You feel anxious.
That's
It's
just
not your
anxious.
paranoia.
Yeah, that's just
Sometimes
anxiety.
you see things and you think, oh, maybe I may be dreaming things. But what about that occasion when you were woken up at the narcissist in the middle of night and you found them staring at you, but crazily, with a smirk on their face, like they were staring at you,
That's not supernatural. He just woke you up and stared at you.
working, and then they entered the room and looked at you like this, without blinking their eyes, without moving at all, just looked at you and stayed still. That is scary, isn't it?
It is scary. They're fucking with you.
I don't know what the scientific explanation is to that, except that they are trying to study you, they're trying to intimidate you, but the spiritual aspect tells us it's the evil entity, the evil energy,
No.
them
Can't
that
believe
tries
it.
to
I didn't think
dominate
it was
you.
this explicit. I thought he was kind of a fence sitter on this shit, but only until this video did I realize he's full in on the supernatural shit.
In that moment. Number 3, things break on their
This
own.
is just things
It's understandable
breaking
when you break
again.
a few things out of anxiety, or when the narcissist does it to you to terrorize you. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is without any intervention, without touch, they break. Things keep falling. And I'm not talking about an occasional thing. It's not like twice a month. No, it's every single day. Something falls, breaks, as if there is lack of stability, lack of peace.
Can you videotape it? The things breaking on their own every single day. If it happens every single day, then it should be easy to just record the room or something.
Lack of stillness in the house. Why wouldn't it be unstable when this person is so heavy, when this person is nothing but home to evil?
What? A person cannot expand their mass through narcissism.
When they keep inviting, call it spirits, call it entities, call it energy, to the environment they live in, and you witness it. No science can explain it. It's just an
Yes, it can. I'm sure it can. Science has explained a lot of stuff, man.
experiential thing. Additionally, bugs may start infesting your house. It's
Get a fucking cleaner. Sweep the food out of your house, bruh. There's fucking probably sugar somewhere that ants are getting to.
It's not a pest problem. Pest control can try to fix it, but it doesn't get fixed. You may
Well, then they're shitty pest control people. This has happened before.
remove all the attractants, but they keep coming back. They keep re-entering your house from weird openings.
Close up the openings.
They only go away when the narcissist is gone. How is
That's bullshit.
that possible? There is no science.
Yes, there is. That bugs just exist in your house sometimes.
You may try your level best, but these bugs will reappear. How do I know this? I have experienced it with my own eyes. Back then as a child, I thought I was crazy because our
You
house
are crazy.
used to be surrounded by these bugs for no reason. We cut down the trees. I remember cleaning used to happen every single day thoroughly, but still within a day, they would reappear.
What kind of bugs? How many bugs?
Additionally, there was dense energy, quite bad energy to that house.
What is bad energy?
And we would have really bad experiences like knocking on the door in the dark, and you would go and find there's nobody. There's a lot to share, but I'm saying this from my personal experience.
Okay, and that doesn't mean anything. Your personal experience doesn't mean anything when you try to make these claims.
I want you to just think about these weird things, and I want to...
No. You can't do the fence sitting shit now where you're like, oh, just think about these weird things, man. Just think, you're making claims here. You're making claims about the supernatural activity that is associated with this mental health disorder, this real life thing.
It sound intriguing. No, this is a personal experience, and I want to share it with you just to see what you have been through. Because
Shut up.
others have told me similar things, and
Shut
that
the fuck
was
up.
so validating.
I just
Number
want to
four,
hear.
this one is the
I
popular
just want
one.
to
When they
hear
rage,
your ghost stories.
there's a scientific explanation to this.
Thank God.
When they rage,
Thank
their
God.
pupils dilate, and their eyes appear
There you go.
black.
It's there.
That's the reason.
Yes.
But this is something different.
What are you
I
talking
mean, if I
about?
were to share with you what I've heard from others, it will take me hours. But just understand,
Why not? We have all day. It's a YouTube channel. You post 10-minute videos like every other day. Tell us right now.
it's more than that. It's like when you look at this face, you don't recognize a human.
This is so bad. This is so bad. Like you are essentially telling us that narcissistic people are not human and that there's a demonic presence. You're just asking for people to essentially treat narcissists like they're not human beings, which is not true. That's just gonna end fucking badly, dude.
It seems like they are having either a psychotic break or they are demonic, and you can't stand the presence
Look,
anymore.
I can get this. If you're being abused, you're like, oh, I'm being abused by a demon. I get that. But this is an emotional response I would expect from a victim who just got out of this. If you're like, distance yourself from this relationship and you've had time to think about it and you're still like, yeah, a demon was infecting me. Like, I can't take you seriously. I just can't. What am I supposed to think? Oh my God. And for this to come from a person who's supposedly a narcissist abuse professional, holy shit.
More about this phenomenon, I highly recommend reading the book People of the Lie. You will be left shocked because it's a doctor, a psychologist talking about his scary experiences with narcissistic and psychopathic people.
So since Danish recommended this book, I went ahead and found an abridged audiobook version of it for free on YouTube and listened to it. It's about 4 hours. And it makes me feel a little bit more sympathetic towards how he got these weird ideas, because while this book is, for the most part, it's a psychiatry and philosophy book describing a doctor's experience with what he calls evil, it's mostly a real doctor's plea to start scientifically studying evil and some of the supernatural parts maybe of evil in human beings. While most of the book is simply his experiences with very mentally ill people who are not necessarily possessed by Satan or demons, there is a little bit of quackery around describing an exorcism he apparently witnessed, where people made frightening faces and looked like serpents, or maybe even had a serpentine form, and the doctor describes Satan and such. The problem with all of this is, of course, the complete lack of evidence. It is only him describing his personal experience, and I can't do much with that. But this book does help me understand where Danish gets a lot of his supernatural paranormal ideas from, which is people like this. Keep in mind, this book is from the 80s, and it's been 40 years since he told the scientific community to start studying exorcisms, so I'm guessing not much has happened, because exorcisms are still not scientific. Still, even though the Doctor does describe supernatural and paranormal things in the Exorcist part, none of this comes close to the flickering lights, infestations, etc., demonic spirits in narcissistic people that Danish seems to promote without any skepticism at all, really. So this is like a more reasonable argument, even though I think it's still completely unscientific and has no evidence, and no one should take this as a serious way of treating or understanding people with mental disorders. Yeah, so the best thing is that cut the supernatural shit. Stop. Just stop and like actually think about your beliefs for a second, because this is really bad. To constantly equate a real disease, a real mental health condition with the supernatural, with God, with demons, with paranormal activity is just so damaging, and he needs to take a break, delete or debunk his own videos, because like, Jesus Christ, no one should take this guy seriously, especially after these videos I've shown you. Like, I'm sure he's made 3,000 videos. I'm sure some of them are fine. I'm sure some of them have real advice, but holy shit, he should stop making the videos about the supernatural. It's ridiculous. It's nonsense, unscientific, bullshit, completely unprofessional.